Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the latest episode of River City 93. I'm your host, as always, Elliot Barr. And are joining me are my good friends that are celebrating the playoffs. We already did that last week. We're celebrating more. Yeah. How are y'all doing? How are you doing, Matt? I like the shirt. What is that? Lavender? Purple?
Oh,
Lilac?
purplish. I don't know.
Okay.
Purple.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, I mean, it's playoff time. Time to get serious. It's a classy podcast tonight.
Pinky's up. I respect it. Also joining us on the show is the one and only Kate. Kate, you had on a onesie yesterday underneath the jersey. What onesie was it?
That question truly will be debated for centuries to come. It seemed to be a cat, but it also had wings, and it had these like horrific blue eyes. And my dad got it at Forever 21. So really, we may never know what animal that onesie's meant to be. But at least I have a voice today, and that's what matters.
And that's the most important thing. Also, your chant about Carlton Belmar having to go to the bathroom was hilarious.
We're glad he heard it.
He did. He did. He made sure to hear it. Also, yeah, Carlton Belmar came back. And last but not least is Mr. Sharan Chenier. How are you doing, sir? I say Sharan. I don't know why. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Hanging in there. Loving that we're in the playoffs. I know last game wasn't all that great, but oh well, we're in the playoffs. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, that's the most important thing. Like, so let's go ahead and let's talk about it. So we all knew what kind of was at stake for the Kickers going into this game. We knew that if we win, we had the possibility of either going to Madison or NoCo on the road, depending on how the 10 o'clock games went that we had to watch. Well, starting this game off with pretty much the same lineup. Nothing changed. So we knew that. We knew Jao was going to be out with a lengthy injury. Bill Hard, I think he might be back sooner than later. But yeah, he was out as well. The start of this game started off well. Like it seemed like the Kickers were thoroughly in control, had some good chances on target. Like I think I was right. I was very close to the one Chandler had where he kind of cut through a couple of people, and if he chips the goalkeeper, he might have scored that. They had a good set piece, and then the red card. Do y'all guys want to talk about how the match was before the red card, or you guys just want to go straight to the red card? Because I have thoughts on this red card.
We could talk about what happened before, because there were quite a few great chances that the Kickers created. Also, Sneddon had a pretty awesome save.
Oh yeah, he did.
Probably halfway through the first half. Um, he was in mid dive when it got deflected and still was able to get his body to it and get his hands on it. Um, I mean, first of all, with the lineup, it was kind of the same. We're dealing with the same lineup that we've been dealing with, um, that we dealt with last game, pretty much. Um, I can see that um, we're not making too many changes. We're not changing anything. Darren is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm happy with that. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. And they started off the game very well.
Yeah. Matt, Kate, anything y'all want to add to that? Are y'all ready to go straight to this red card?
I think it reminded me of the away game against Charlotte. Like it was pretty edgy. Both teams had opportunities, so it didn't feel so. It felt similar. It felt like the Kickers could have nicked a win. Like not necessarily would have gone the way the Lexington match last week went, but it felt chippy enough. Opportunities at both ends. Like it really was going to be. It wasn't going to be a goal fest, but one or two might have been the decider. So I'm not altogether surprised with the final scoreline, but it definitely the officiating was the large in the end decided more than the play on the field, I think.
No, I mean, I think that Kickers had the overall better of play, for the first, what would that have been, 40 minutes, or so. I mean, if we're being really honest, Chandler needed to score at least one of those two chances, that he had, two in about 3 minutes, one right on his feet. It got saved, but you would hope in that kind of position, he could be able to find, a way to get the ball in the net. Other one, it comes to him and he can't get himself turned around, quick enough, well enough, whatever the situation happened to be there. The ball just gets lost in his feet and end up not getting any shots off, at all. Even though Josh Kirkland made a really good, run down the touchline and been able to beat his defender to be able to cut inside, and be able to create something good there. And that's been an ongoing problem. The teams had, like, we're good on the set pieces, we're good on the restarts. Creating things from open play has been a bit iffy. So when something, a really strong chance like that, does get created and we don't even get a shot off, from it, it's not the greatest feeling, ever.
Yeah, no. But I mean,
they found a way to get it on his head in either one of those scenarios. It's probably 2-0 because, Chandler O header. He's not, ironically enough, not Chandler O kicker.
No. No, I mean, it felt like Richmond was like stacked up toward, like, how to say this? It felt as if Richmond, my fault, was in control of that game for most parts. Like they had a game plan of, like, they knew Charlotte wanted to play half court, wanted to slow the game down, and they were able to cover and really stifle Charlotte. Like, granted, Charlotte had 2 chances, but they had 2 versus Richmond's 4. And it seemed like Dak was also doing a great job of being that buffer in between the back line, not letting, like, Juan is his name? It's not Obregon. Is it Obregon or Overton?
Obregon.
Obregon.
Overton I don't think was there.
Yeah. But he was the buffer, pretty much did not allow him to, like, create havoc, which kind of led to the first goal. So, having that there. Now, the red card, I think, going back and look at it, I can understand why, but it just felt as if, like, I don't want to cram on the refs because ref jumps are already hard enough, but it just felt as if, like, he automatically knew without a second down, like, I'm giving this a red. Like, there was no talk, no nothing. Because it looked like a bang, like both players going for the ball. And it just seemed like the one who was standing up right afterwards got the card and not the one on the ground. That's what it felt like. It felt like it should have been yellow.
Yeah. In my opinion, that is a clear-cut yellow because Dak's first touch fails him, and now he has to kind of lunge to try and keep possession of the ball. The Charlotte player gets a touch in before he can get his foot to it, so it's a late tackle. But it wasn't studs up because, of course, he's standing up. He's not slid down, so it's not studs up. Yeah, he happens to step on him in the collision, but that's not a red card offense. That's a yellow card. That's a yellow card. There was no recklessness. It was a late tackle at the end of the day. His first touch failed him. He's overstretching to try and keep possession. The defender gets a touch first. He treads on him. Yellow card. We move on. But I really think this was very, very unfair to the kickers to get the red card in that situation.
Yeah, it seemed a little bit weird. Matt Key, what are your thoughts on it? Do you think it was a justified red or?
I think on the balance of the game, based on the other calls that he made throughout the game, I didn't think that the red seemed in line with how he officiated most of the rest of the game, bar the second yellow and the additional sending off, because he let a lot of other things slide that probably were at a similar level of aggression. But one of my friends was actually sitting halfway down the field. She did say that it looked to them that it was on the back of his calf. with studs. So there might have been camera angle so bad and they could not slow it down for some reason. They refused to slow it down. They refused to zoom in. They refused to like find a better way to zoom in on what happened on the broadcast. So it really was hard to tell. So I don't know if it did look different if you on the other side of the play than what the camera was on. But on the balance of the game, I thought that there were if that was going to set the tone for what a red card was, other calls could have gone differently. So
I don't think it wasn't a red. Like you can see where it's a yellow sometimes, but it's more on Dak. Like you said, terrible first touch. Like he should never put himself in that position in the first place, and he was incredibly late. With the contact too. Like the ball was already 10 yards up the field by the time he took out whoever it was, and he was a little bit high with the tackle too. Like that's a rough combo, and I get where you're going for at first. It's like it seemed like he always was going to call it a red card, but like isn't that what you want in an official, to be able to recognize and be able to see that right away and not like second guess it and like it's like, well, let me think. Should I give him a red? Should I give him a yellow? You want decisive action from official, so
I mean, but
I put it far more on
understand that.
the player, and if you're the captain of the team in a game where this doesn't actually mean anything, you can't do that.
Yeah, because now, I mean, unless it gets overturned, he'll miss the game against Union Omaha.
And there's a possibility that could happen, because if there's one thing this league loves to do is to overturn red cards for reasons.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping that that reason will play in our favor and whatnot. I want to ask you guys this: How do you guys like the kicker's response, or what? Not like, but maybe just make it like this: How do you guys judge the kicker's response to how they play after getting the red card? Because to me, it seemed like it took them a while to kind of get adjusted to it. Like being down.
It took them a little bit. I think as the half was dwindling out, they kind of needed to adjust. But they came back in the second half. To be honest, it really did not look like we were playing a man down in the second half. We were creating almost just as many chances, just as many dangerous chances, and the game was fairly even all the way through, even with us playing a man down, which actually I think was actually commendable. The fact that we're still going for it, even though we were a man down.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's any negative adjustment points to be had. I mean, with the team that we put out there in the first place, it's really easy just to drop Chandler and Zaka back a line each, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
You're right there for the most part. You get yourself to halftime, and then make any other adjustments that you might want to make at that point. So I don't think that was really an issue. And like Shanir said, possession might have tilted a little bit more towards Charlotte, because they're always going to have a guy open there. But in terms of significant chances, in terms of actual overall feel for the game, there wasn't a significant difference, I didn't think. Part of that because the kickers had something to play for, and it really was just a game for Charlotte. They were pretty much locked into sixth no matter what was going to happen. So he didn't necessarily have the same urgency that the kickers might have.
No. Yeah, no. I mean, we know he brought Neil Vigneault in for Sarakowski at halftime. Was there another halftime show? Or was that the only one? I think that was the only one I recognized. So yeah, he brought Neil in, brought a little bit more control in the midfield, and then 61st minute. This is where I think missing Dak really it allows Charlotte to have this goal scoring opportunity, because Obi-Wan did not make. I think it was Griffin Garnett. I don't think he made him look the best. Kind of held like a weird line of getting in front of Griffin Garnett. I'm imagining if Dak's there, that ball is either cleaned up from Kelton Belmar. He's not allowed to make just that easy pass. That through ball in between Griffin Garnett to slot it into the post. Yeah. I didn't even see the goal live in person. I was like talking to some fans, and I turned around and I heard the cheer, the crowd. Not the cheer, but I heard the moans. And I turned around and saw them I don't know what you call it, Case, salsa dancing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. This one definitely frustrated me more from the officiating perspective because I don't know if he was onside, but
Yeah, I don't
that's
know
not a
either.
replay that we get to see in this league, and it's not something that gets discussed. But he,
I mean, on that one, I'm going to go with the same mindset we had last week with the Chella goal. Nobody was asking for it, so they probably knew he was good.
the whole team was asking for it. They actually all put their arms up.
I'm watching the highlight right now. None of them are asking for it.
Yeah,
They all do. Snen puts his arm up. Griffin puts his arm
Shenfeld
up.
is definitely putting his arm up. But to be honest with you, it's a bit half-hearted. And I think, to be honest with you, Shenfeld is probably the one who keeps him on by running back so fast to try and recover.
the other
Shenfeld
two,
kind
the
of
ref bolted.
leaves his man because he sees that danger and he starts to accelerate. And he actually keeps him on side by doing so. But at this point, to be honest with you, I think the culprit of this goal, the mistake from this goal, comes from a lot further up the field than where Dak would have been. Yes, Dak's lack of presence in the midfield actually created that space for what was that player, the number 9?
Goddamn Belmar.
Look what happens when you actually use him as a substitute and not put him on for minute 1 and burn him out for 60 minutes and then
Hey. To be fair, we played him as a sub, and it still wasn't effective.
Worked here. Looked great. Looked pacey. You're older.
That man had extra space. He was like, "Oh, I haven't played in 10 games. Let me use this fuel real quick."
I think where this stems from, this actually, to be honest, in my opinion, should have been a goal or at least a dangerous chance from our end, because we have so far in this half been playing like we're not down a man. So the fact that we're down a man is not an excuse for the way they did not press the mistake in the back from Charlotte. When I'm not sure who it was who slides in on the midfielder who pops the ball back to the center back or to the right back, and that ball is in the air for ages, and he completely misses the ball. He swings and completely misses. It's bouncing around inside the 18, and there's no pressure there, and we allow them to recover from that mistake. So everyone starts, oh, it took a bounce, and everyone starts moving forward. Now that created this domino effect of we've got issues in the back that we need to cover now that they regained possession, and everyone's scrambling, and that's what leaves Belmont wide open in the middle of the field. Again, Dak would have been in that position, but
yeah, I saw mostly the same thing as you did. There's Chenier, like the ball was kind of pinballing around, in their half, on the left touchline for a good 20 seconds before that.
Exactly.
And yeah, there's that whiff, long ball up, and Chella, eventually, kind of, gets pulled forward because the independent striker has to drop so far back to be able to try to hold possession and win the ball. But when Chella moves forward, like nobody rotates around to cover the space that he leaves open, and that's where the space where Obregon's able to make that run comes from as a result. But then how we get in a situation where Emmy is the one having to try to sprint down Belmar for 30 yards in the middle of the field, like that part is puzzling at best. But yeah, I think it was a little. I'm going to give Charlotte a little bit of credit, saying it was maybe a little bit of strategy to try to get Chella or Griffin, whoever at that moment. In this case, it was Chella pulled out of the defense to be able to open up a little bit of extra space and get us a little more chaotic and disorganized in defense, and they found their moment.
Yeah, they did. So the goal happened, and I mean, like, honestly, after that, like Darren and Chandler, both talked about it in post game interviews. By the way, if you haven't listened to those yet, those are out on YouTube and on all podcast apps. But they both mentioned like the kickers pretty much kept attacking. Like, and Matt, to your point as well, like you said in his hands about like there's no point of really sitting back or anything or trying to get because the draw doesn't help you. So you might as well go and attack and go all out. And it felt as if the kickers were. I thought at least they were going to get a draw, especially when Chandler had the header. Like there was like nearly saved. I didn't see who shot the other one where the goalkeeper had to make a good save on it. I didn't see who shot that one. But yeah, it felt as if like
I think that was
Neil.
Neil.
It was Neil? Okay. Yeah, it just felt as if like we were going to get a draw out of this one. And it definitely made it harder when Landy got his second yellow card.
Wasn't second yellow, straight red.
Oh, it was? I thought it was a second yellow. Yeah, because
The
he was already
announcer said it
yellow, right?
The announcer said it was a straight
yellow.
red, but it was a second yellow. I checked the same thing because I was so pissed if that was a straight red. It shouldn't have been. If he wasn't on a yellow, that would have been a yellow. Because
that's textbook red cards. You know, tore down the
there was
guy.
another defender. There was another defender coming in.
No, yeah, there was another defender near enough that it would have been questionable if it was a straight red. But in that situation, I guess you could say it's what you would call a professional foul. It's like he's gone, he beat me, I just got to take him down. But to be honest with you, it kind of looked very clumsy. It looked like he fell on him.
Yeah, I'm not
honest, but.
I thought it was a great foul. I thought it was the exact right play to make. It's unfortunate that he'd already picked up a yellow because otherwise I think it only would have been a yellow. The other, I don't remember who Maxi or Cello was a step behind him. They would have put the pressure on as well.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, man. Obregon got a thing for picking on minors. Because he picked on Griffin for the first goal and then he picked on Landon to get the red. There was still 8 men down. And even then, like I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they created like maybe one more half opportunity, even down.
Chandler shot from distance.
Yeah. Which I felt like he just rushed it. He just had to get the ball on his feet. But yeah. I mean, so with all that being said, it doesn't suck, but it's kind of just like all right. And I don't know about y'all, but it kind of made me feel a lot better waking up this morning and seeing that Spokane drew 0-0. Because then I'm like, okay, it's not like they lost and we just, like the 7th seed. It's like, all right, it is what it is. Like if we would have drew that game, we still wouldn't have jumped them. So okay, I can live with that. But I mean, it makes plans a little bit easier. We know where we're going now. Yeah, we know where we're going. Number 1 seed, Union Omaha. And I think the game is Sunday.
Yeah, what kind of idiots would schedule a Sunday afternoon game?
Sir, Nebraska football. That's why. I was talking to Chef, and he was like, "Yeah, we scheduled that game Saturday. No one's showing up. Everyone's going to be in Nebraska."
I'm pretty sure a lot of people. Nobody likes watching NFL football.
Yeah, so
it's a really niche thing that not many people do. On Sunday afternoons in the United States.
I know. Well, I'm not watching it anymore. My team sucks. So yeah, I'll be in City Stadium, full speed ahead at the grounds watching that game. But yeah, that's the reason why that game is Sunday, because they were like, yeah, if we do it Saturday, all the TV stations and like all the media people are going to be at Nebraska. So that was like, let's have it Sunday. I mean,
no, you mean still nobody would come to their games?
Well, yeah, fair about that. That is true. So yeah, I don't know. Have y'all seen the rest of the playoff schedule? The only other game I saw was Greenville, but I think that's Saturday at like 2. I didn't see anyone else.
I don't care about the other teams.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
Yeah, no.
So yeah. Also, before we talk about Union Omaha and that whole matchup, shout out to Simon Fitch, Mr. 804, Mr. Consistency, Mr. Homegrown, Mr. Stoic Face, One Emotion. He got the Red Army MVP, the David Buell Memorial Award, and shout out to him, man. I 100% think it was the right person to give that award to, given that he is the Iron Man for this year. Like, he did not. I don't think he got subbed off at all. I don't think he got subbed off for Jägermeister. I know League he did it. I know Jägermeister or Cup. So that's a lot of minutes, man. That's almost like what, 4,000 minutes?
What? No.
Well,
No.
League is like what, 23? How many he played in Jaeger? How many Jaeger? If you add it all together, like Jaeger, US Open Cup.
I didn't know we were counting Open Cup and everything too, because I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
no, that's what I'm saying. I know League is not 4,000. I'm saying like all of that together.
Well, since the league is not even 2,000, and that's the majority, it's definitely not 4,000.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
get close to 3.
no.
Maybe so.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's close to 3,000 with the league. But the thing with Fitch, it's not only the fact that he's played every game, but that level of consistency, that level of just. I don't think he had a game where he stood out as a bad player on the team. Like he was consistently good, draw, win or loss. He played well. In fact, his header is what gave us that win last week. And in fact, in this game, interestingly enough, he linked up with Neil again for another very close chance. I think it was it O'Dwyer that headed the ball right at the goalkeeper, kind of towards the end. I think it was 70-something minute. Again, like unmarked. And I think that's one thing Fitch has been able to do. Not only defensively has he been very strong and very solid and made that side of the field very hard to attack, but going forward, he is an agent of chaos going forward. When he comes in late, he's almost anytime the ball gets to him, he's completely unmarked because no one is tracking him. He has some way of kind of stealthing his way into dangerous areas without anyone realizing it, which, I mean, is something that I absolutely value in a fullback. So,
yeah, I just checked transfer marked, and he has, because that's the only way to consistently get stats, because you can actually look at all 3 competitions in a row, and he has 5 assists this season, which the total number of goals this season number wise is pretty low. So for Simon to pick up 5 assists when 2 seasons ago, when he wasn't playing as much as he is now, crossing was, well, his on the ground crossing was fine. His aerial crossing, the development in his game on the wings, his ability to contribute in attack has developed so impressively over the past 2 seasons. I think he's had to do it more. He's been contributing more, especially now that Addy isn't playing on the wing. Simon has sort of been getting further up the field a bit, but that was not he got himself in the team on his defensive abilities, but he's added offensive dimension and developed it so impressively over the past 2 seasons that, yeah, I think the MVP. I voted for Chandler O'Dwyer, of course, but I think it's been really, really impressive to see him grow so steadily and become an asset offensively rather than someone who pitches in, is sometimes in a good position and you hope for the best from an attacking perspective. Yeah, I complained about his crossing on several occasions, but I have no complaints any longer. He's really good at it now.
Yeah.
As the original Simon fan, proven fact from many podcasts past. Yeah, all the stuff you say is true. It should have been Chandler that won. Like, Chandler bailed us out time and time again. We still haven't figured out how he manages to keep doing it, but
he almost did it tonight. He almost did it last night. Once again.
I know.
Exactly.
I don't know, man.
Like, where is this team this year without Chandler O'Dwyer?
Oh, we got a wooden spoon in our hand.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got to win.
So,
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Simon, very good season. I think the fans got it wrong.
So I just looked it up on Transfer Market as well. He did not complete the Ironman streak because of 2 games in the Jägermeister. He got subbed off early. So if it wasn't for that, he would have. He got subbed off for 2 games.
I have maintained all year that it's a fake competition, doesn't count.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah, so yeah, shout out to Simon. He won it. Chandler was a good runner-up as well. And funny enough, we were doing post-game interviews, and we were supposed to interview Simon Fitch. Simon dipped. Like, we were outside waiting for like 15 minutes for him. Chandler came out there and was like, yeah, Simon already left. He went. He was like, oh, great. This is fun.
Great.
So, yeah. In the midst of all that waiting and whatnot, found out that, the Kickers are doing a watch party at City Stadium on the big board, which is going to be cool. It's going to be fun to do. Bring a blanket. It's probably going to be cold. We're getting into that weird Virginia weather where it's like, oh, it's warm outside around kickoff time, and maybe I don't need this hoodie. And then nighttime hits, you're like, oh no, it's freezing. That's how I felt out there on the field. Like, I was like, oh,
Yeah, once the sun goes behind those trees over there, it's like, yeah, there goes your heat.
Dog. In the words of my father-in-law, that light in the sky went out. It got cold. It got cold quick. So we're playing Union Omaha, who are the Shield winners and whatnot. Like I said, the game is Sunday. I forgot what time.
5.
I told you what time. But it's 5.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. So you might miss the 4:00 game. NFL football, but I mean everything's on streaming. You'll be fine. And by the way, like, you need to be watching the Kickers anyway. Guys? Let's assume that Dak red card does not get overturned. How does Darren set this team up?
Neil has to be back in the 11.
I was going to say the same thing. Drop Zaka back to the 6, then bring on Neil. Because to be honest with you, that's sometimes when you're lacking in some of that defensive solidity in the midfield, the best way to do it is add some more attacking aggression to drop the other team back. That's the only. I personally think, in terms of our lineup, that is the only option, is bringing Neil back into that midfield 3.
You clearly want to say you disagree, Elliot. Do it.
Yeah, I disagree. I disagree big time. I do. So this is me. I think you keep Neil on the bench and use him like that 55th, 60th minute sub. I think he's been great in that role. I think the thing with Neil, and I love Neil, the thing with starting him is you're also starting Terzaghi. You're starting 2 people that effectively, I hate to say it, they're more or less traffic cones in defense. Like, it's like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Not Klay Thompson. It's more like Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. Like, they're great offensively, and you know what you're getting in that. But defensively, it's like, okay.
I don't think that's entirely fair, but okay.
The analogy works. I can't think of anyone else right now. But it's like, okay, like, I just say,
I don't know, because
It's win or go home.
The goal that we conceded.
and I hear that. I do hear that. But I also think, like, you know how Union Omaha field is. It doesn't play into Neil's strengths. Because Neil needs a side. Like, Neil works best when they're in space. And Union Omaha's not going to give you that kind of space. So more or less, like, Richmond knows, like, you're going to have to pretty much use the Charlotte method from last year when they beat them in Omaha. Of like, yo, we are going to give you the ball, we're going to pack numbers behind it, and we're going to be very direct. I think if you start Neil and Emmy, you're not going to be super direct. Now, I am saying that I think This is gonna burn me to say this.
I was waiting to see which ones you pick.
That's all.
So, if Nathan Ani is healthy, I think you put him in the Dak role, but you don't give him the role of distributor. I think you tell Dak, you tell Ani, like, look, I need you to win headers and clear the ball. That is your sole duty. That's it. Like, be like a third center back, but play defensive mid. That's it. Like,
Okay.
I think
that was definitely off the board on things I thought you were going to say.
Oh, what you thought I was going to say?
Not that.
Yeah, that scares me because you got to think about this. Ani is a good center back, but in the midfield, you need someone that can cover ground. You need someone that can cover ground and cover ground quickly because in the midfield, the ball's not in the air that much; it's on the ground, and you need someone who's good with their feet. And Dak has been able to handle that situation very well.
Yeah.
Ani they'd be able to pass circles around Ani far too easily as a center back playing as a six. The reason, and another thing I'm gonna have to disagree with you with is the whole thing with Neil and Terzaghi kind of being traffic cones on defense. Uh, Neil, yes, as a 10, he kind of relies on the players around him to do the defensive duty, and then he wants to be the one to create going forward. But Terzaghi has no problem dropping out of the 9 position to defend. If we look just at this game, with the goal we concede, who's the one who's trying to chase Belmar down? It's Terzaghi, who senses the danger from way up the field and turns on the gas to try and catch Belmar before he releases that ball.
Yeah.
So he has no problem, turning on the jets to try and do something defensively. So I don't know if I would, and I
don't think
if
you
we
just
look
go
at
out
any
there
other
and just play.
replacements in the midfield.
I just find it hard to start both. Because, if you start both, you're effectively saying, like, hey, we want to control the ball. You're not doing that against Union Omaha. Like, I'm sorry, you're not. And if we do that, it's gonna be a repeat of the 3-0 loss that we took there.
Then I'd drop Terzaghi then, because Chandler's been scoring goals. Obviously, Terzaghi he's a brilliant player, but Neil's been racking up these. Dwyer's been scoring the goals. To me, Terzaghi then could play the super role. It's really not working. To me, Neil, with Joao out, Joao's injured. Joao can't play.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest.
We don't have another central midfielder. Oh, and the fact we have a central midfielder as good as Neil Vignal is currently on our bench feels.
Yeah, I think it's been. I mean, either or. I just think you can't start both.
So,
that's just
I can get on board with some of your ideas. You're right here because I think what needs to happen. Like you said, we'd try to play with them. It's going to be the same thing as last time. I think you look back, that was an aberration. Look at how they score their goals. One, Shello passes the ball right to the
yeah.
guy.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's not replicable. A penalty, and then a late free kick that was all but meaningless. Like, didn't actually really truly score from open play in that game, and then we just went 0-0 against them this last time. I think if it's me, if I'm Darren and Mika, my thought process here is okay. We kind of suck at creating our own quality chances and finishing them, right? I think it's probably fair to say at this point in the year that's not necessarily our strongest point. What our strong points are being big boys.
Yeah.
Out there. So let's lean into that. Let's try to muck the game up. Let's try to.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but I think, even
not going to give you that. He doesn't have the mobility to do
that. No, just being big doesn't mean you're not mobile. Like you can, be able to have both. Like maybe this is a situation where Dak out. We have depth, in the back, right now. Maybe you slide, Gee into the starting lineup with Chella and Griffin and kind of go a 5-back,
Yeah.
type route because Simon is willing to stay home if necessary. Maxey, he can provide a little bit of that width. That still doesn't really disturb the midfield too much there, but gives you a little bit of extra help in there. I think what we're talking about is the real value of Dak being somebody who can be very mobile in the midfield. Okay, Justin Suko can run all day. We've seen him in that spot be okay in the past. Is it the perfect thing? Maybe not. But if there's a guy on the team that I think can probably run for 120, it's probably him.
Yeah.
Right, and then you kind of figure out the other pieces, where you go. You also have to think about, what your sub patterns are going to be like. I don't think you can start Vaughn because I don't think he can be able to go the whole game. So you got to pick what you want him to start off with or bring him in, to reinforce later on. I think you bring him in to reinforce later on. I'm not opposed to somebody like Neil coming off the bench. Like see if you can string the game along long enough. Get him on at even like 75, or something, and then that way he still gets 45. Out there, assuming we can get ourselves into extra time, and try to steal it that way.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. I think the kickers are have to say they're not beating. I don't see them beating Union Omaha like straight up.
Don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Like I just think I think the safer play is to be more defensive and you can go more attacking later versus let's put all our big guns out there. Oh, we're down a goal or two.
Yeah,
And then you look at our bench and you're like, I don't really have any other attacking options.
I think you also the benefit of maybe having Neil the bench is with my strategy. It's definitely keeping an eye towards penalties, making sure you have your better penalty takers on there at the end of the game instead of potentially having to sub them off.
Yeah.
So Boshua starts.
Yeah.
I mean, those are your words, not mine. But
look, if we're going, follow me here, walk with me. If we're going big body, yeah, absolutely, yes. We can put that 4-4-2 out there, put Boshua and Dwyer up there, and treat everything like a set piece. We can literally go and play 3 yards and a pound of dust football out there. I am fine with that. If it results in us getting the PKs, I can live.
The thing that I definitely would think is we definitely need to make sure that I know he hasn't played that many minutes. He's been coming off of the bench regularly. I do think we need to start O'Dwyer and Terzaghi because they are our two most dangerous goal scorers.
Oh yeah,
Terzaghi is one of those players that can create a goal out of nothing. Look at the goal he scored a couple of weeks ago, where he receives the ball with his back to goal and crowded around by defenders, able to get a turn and a shot off to bury it. O'Dwyer has been scoring goals left, front, and center with every part of his body, including his heel, over his head. So we're I think those two definitely need to be on there to give us as many chances to score as possible. And especially those are two players that can do so off of crosses and off of set pieces. To be honest with you, I'm leaning a little more towards Matt, what you're saying. I think the lineup that we started this game against Charlotte with would be pretty good, except putting Sukal instead of Dak, since if Dak can't play. Sukas, he's got an engine. He's gonna run. He's gonna hustle. Kirkland is gonna run. He's gonna hustle, and everyone else seems to have managed fairly well. Like I said, the performance overall in the game against Charlotte was actually very good, considering we spent most of the game a man down. It's I actually think with with our dangerous players actually having put on their shooting boots, we would have won this game, in my opinion. Levy stood on his head as well. I have to hand it to him grudgingly. And this team looks like the way we were set up. This looks like the lineup that can actually some some nous in this game against Union.
I might be thinking crazy, but do you think there's any way Tony Pineda gets a start, given how narrow this field is? Because look, if Richmond is going to have a game plan in this, it'd be very direct. Does it hurt to start Tony over Kirk? Okay, let's say
if we want to play big boy ball, it does.
Yeah, like if we know Bosch was not going to start, so it probably will be Terzaghi and Kirkland, how it was like up there in the start. You figure O'Dwyer is going to be in the midfield paired with Zaka, and there's also going to be Ryan Sarakowski. Why not put Tony Pineda out there and be like, hey, look, like all this week in practice, I would just show him highlights of Jonathan Bolaños, like that one play, and be like, you see that? That's all you're doing. You are running straight. You are running 9 routes the entire game. That's it.
And you are using your 5'6" self to go down under any pressure you feel.
Yeah, exactly. Like you know how Emmy just collapses and falls on any breath? That's all you're doing, son. As soon as the ball gets your feet and you see a Union Omaha player in your peripheral fall, just crumble.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't think we know that Bosch was not starting. He played the last Omaha game. You know, he's been picked. You know, he didn't play yesterday, but he's made quite a few appearances recently. So I don't think he's like out of the picture by any means. I don't know if Tony's proven himself enough on the defensive side of things, to be able to get the trust with the start in the playoff game.
Yeah.
Right. And I just think with his speed, it's going to be more useful, late in the game, try to catch somebody out that way. I think like Kirkland, showed a lot more like industry, with his running, and the chances that he's gotten so far. And
maybe so.
I just think that's what we're going to need more of. This game is like the grinders.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about like who would be that winger per se.
Sarakowski.
Well, no, that's what I said. Sarakowski. That's our Dwyer and Zaka in the midfield. Kirkland and so you're saying Kirkland will be the other winger and Bosch will start? Is that what you're saying? I'm saying
not. I mean, it could be any combination of Sarakowski, Boschua, or Kirkland.
Yeah.
On the wings, most likely. I mean, if you don't want to start Emmy, you can move Boschua to center forward. We've seen that. That one before didn't go great, but
I was so wrong on that prediction.
Oh, trust me, I found them for preseason. We'll go over them later on. We all missed a few.
Yeah. Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, it's a jigsaw puzzle because like the back four makes itself. Like you already know what the back four is going to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
assuming, unless this is due to anyone else, that James Sneddon is going to be the starter for the playoff game.
He better.
Like I would be shocked if it's Pablo or Will. Like I would be shocked.
I'd be very shocked if it was Will, seeing how he's not on the team this year.
I mean, that Will, God. You're right. The other goalkeeper, his name is David.
Ryan Jello.
Yeah, there you go. So then it comes to really the midfield. I feel like you can't make the attack yet because you got to figure out the midfield part.
Yeah.
Like, who goes there? I mean, the midfield's really going to tell us. Like, when that lineup comes out at 4:45, it is going to tell us how Darren and Mika and the staff are looking to go at this game. Like, it's going to give us a clear indication of how they are looking to go. If it's Neil, Emmy, Zaka, and them, like the tried and true boys, It's like, all right, we looking to control this game. If it's the big body boys, it's look like, okay, we're looking to make this game into a WWE fight. and Darren might get sent off in the process, which I thought he was going to come close to the last game. But yeah, that's what it looks like. Like that yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I haven't heard anything yet, so we'll see. But yeah, do y'all think Bill Hart would be healthy in time? I don't know what his injury exactly was, but if he can magically get healthy, it would be great.
It's like to a certain extent, what am I saving for? If it's anything borderline, it's like I don't know. It's kind of like
it's pretty much like, are you healthy enough to play? Like, are you healthy enough to play? Like, can I play? But yeah, no, I mean, at the same time, it's like
I don't know.
Like, can he suit up and if we get to the extra, like, hey, can you suit up and give us 20 minutes?
I think it's only now. It would then be annoying with the possibility of extra time because, I mean, maybe he could be some sort of super sub if the game is a draw, trying to go for a win. But that's frustrating from if he has 20 minutes in him and then there's an extra 30 to play.
Yeah.
You wanted to ask us something?
I was about to ask y'all a question, but I forgot it for a second, but I know what it is now. We usually don't do this on the show, but since it's it's playoffs, why not?
Oh, no faith.
What's y'all predictions for this game? I have faith. I do. If they go with my design game plan, I have a lot of faith.
Central midfielder on each plan.
Yeah, buck it up. Buck it up.
Boy.
We gonna have more yellow cards and fouls than shots on target, baby.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that would work out very well. I think Union Omaha would be like, oh, let's target him, and they would because when you see the performance of a center back as a center back, they can be deceivingly good. And it can look like, oh, this player can play anywhere. Get him out of center back, and they're a fish out of water. And I think Dak is an exception to that. I think Dak, to be honest with you, has had a lot of experience probably throughout his playing career as playing as a midfielder. But Ani is that he's a tower on defense. And even though, yes, you have some big guys that can move, there is a certain element that as a center midfielder you should have that I don't think Ani has. He is fantastic with the play in front of him. But you need to understand that as a center midfielder or even a defensive center midfielder, the play is all around you. It's not just in front of you. And that's a completely different
look. The only thing I'm thinking about Ani doing is banging heads and getting bodies. That's it. I don't care about tactics with Ani. Do what Ani does best. How many times have you seen that man dribble the ball up the field like he prime Ronaldinho?
That only works if we have an aggressive high press. When have you seen us play an aggressive high press where a team has no option of playing out of the back?
Yeah, no.
Because if they have no option of playing out of the back, yeah, they're popping the ball in the air. That's when Ani does his thing. But if we decide, and how often does Darren ask the team to high press, to push the other team's back line to send the ball long?
Yeah.
Not very often. So now the ball 90% of the time is going to be coming at Ani on the ground, not in the air.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Let's get this in. What are y'all predictions for this game? What y'all got? Matt, you want to start?
Yeah, I think it's going to look like some past historic kickers, playoff games, 0-0, get into extra time, and not get, over the line. So I'm going to, 1-0 Omaha, like 110th minute or something hurtful like that.
Oh,
All right, Shadir, what about you, man?
Again, it all depends on how Darren decides to play, how he decides to approach this game. If he goes conservative, I'm with Matt. 1-0 loss in extra time. If he finds a way to take the game to Union, I can see it turning into something different. I can see us possibly, if we play our cards right, getting a 2-1 win.
Okay. In regular time, 2-1? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Kate?
I have to emotionally manage my own expectations. I'm going to say 2-0 Omaha in regulation. Chemistry is important, and I fear this has thrown a rather large wrench into it. And Darren's team selection, when he tries to overthink it, it doesn't work. So I don't have a lot of faith in his team selection, seeing as the Spokane game in the Jaeger Cup that sparked this wonderful run of form seemed pretty spontaneous. So I don't know. I can't go into it thinking that we're going to nick a point, because otherwise it will be, we could nick a result, because it would be too emotionally soul crushing. So you check the numbers table, not to be a Debbie Downer, but
Okay, emotionally soul crushing is what this team does in the playoffs. I can count off more than I care to.
Yeah, we've already been there, Kate. Tucson, what was it? That was 2021.
That's 21. That was nothing in comparison to some other stuff.
Chattanooga, 2022. Lou City, the last time we made the playoffs in the championships. There's a plethora of other ones.
Charleston the year before that.
Yeah.
I can count at least 4 different times, getting knocked out in penalties, over the years, other OT losses over the year. Yeah. To be a Kickers fan is to, kind of get the kick in the proverbial nuts when it comes to playoff time over and over and over again in the most cruel ways possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're playing with
house money.
We're playing with house money, which is why I have to almost hope for them to put us out of our misery quickly rather than drag it out to a 121st stoppage time game.
That'd be too easy.
Guys, y'all living in fear. We are playing with y'all. We are playing with house money. Okay, let me relax, y'all. We are playing with house money. This team has 0 expectations. We all literally thought this team playoff chances were nil back in July. This team went on a magical run. They are in the playoffs. We are all grateful and happy with it. There is 0 pressure, 0 nilch, not an ounce on Richmond. The media ain't picking us. We damn sure ain't pick them. Union Omaha fans ain't worried about it. Look, for me, I think Richmond will win this game in extra time, 1-0, being defensive. And the thing is, hold on. The thing is, all the pressure's on Union Omaha. All the pressure's on them.
But they're actually a very good football team.
That's fine.
So
They were a very good football team last year. You saw what happened when Charlotte went there.
Kate, that's one point. They're a completely different team than we are, and we need to remember the last time we were in the playoffs, we bowed out in the first round, playing most of the game a man up.
And who all the pressure was on? Richmond. The pressure's not on us. Like, yo, there's no difference if Richmond goes out there and loses 3-1 or 2-1. Or go in extra time and loses on PKs. The pressure's not on us. It's on them. Like, let me give you this scenario. If Richmond scores in the 55th minute, it is 1-0. You don't think Union Omaha fans going to get a little tight around the neck? Union Omaha players that going to get a little tight?
Look,
I think the issue isn't on us nicking a goal. It's on us preventing them from nicking a goal because they're a team that unfortunately is good at scoring goals and winning games. So again, I don't think it's possible for Richmond to get a result. I just can't go into the game with the expectation that they will because again, no expectations. So I have to go into it with no expectations.
Just throw them.
Shut them out a month ago. Really hand delivered 3 goals to them last time we were there. They didn't earn any of those goals. They were absolute gifts. Yeah. And most importantly, Elliot's not going to the game. Yeah.
And
we keep this dude away from this dude away from the team. We got a shot.
Yeah.
And
you put him anywhere near any of our guys, they crumble.
Yeah.
When you see this big black chocolate body, they're just like, oh my God. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, literally, yo, look, I'm telling you, we all have seen it from playoff folklore, yo. Like, the team with the least expectations pulls something magical out their assholes. So it can't be Richmond.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're gonna go on like a crazy run or anything, you know, taking one game at a time. But I think we can go in there and get something. Like, we don't got to be conservative and shy. Put the pressure on Union Omaha. Force them.
Exactly.
Force them.
What I said. If Darren decides, you know, let's go guns blazing, you know, throw caution to the wind and let's do what we can to score as many as we can if we can. To be honest with you, if he actually has the attitude that he put forth in the announcement of Darren as head coach of the Richmond Kickers press conference, I'd rather lose a game 4-3 than win a game 1-0. If you go in with that mentality, we could take it to Union Omaha and put them under pressure.
You're wrong.
He has not done that.
I don't care. I do not care about scoring in this game. I do not. What I want.
That's the only way.
Okay, hold on. Let me rephrase that. I do care about scoring. It can be 1-0 with one shot on goal. That's all I care about. Like that. It don't got to be nothing crazy. We can score in the second minute. If we don't take another shot on goal and we walk out that stadium 1-0. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, but again, going to what I'm saying is we would have to be on the front foot in order to score that one goal.
No, you don't.
I don't.
No, you don't.
Look at all the absolute BS goals that we've stolen away. Like, we were on the front foot down in Charlotte.
Yeah, use Chandler's head. That don't got to be beautiful. I don't need to see Tiki Taka. For all I can give a damn, if he can backflip and backheel a goal into the back of the net, which he's already done this year once, literally. But I don't care how that goal is scored. Cherry can use his bum and get that ball over the line. As long as it says 1-0 Richmond.
I'm not too proud for an own goal win.
Yeah, exactly.
take an own goal win.
It could be
an own goal win.
It could be an own goal. I will be fine.
I'm also not too proud for a 0-0 penalty win.
We've won a lot on pens this season.
A win is a win.
Exactly.
This is a playoff. Go hard or go home.
I'm glad y'all starting to come to this side. The pressure's not on us.
I acknowledge there are scenarios in which Richmond could win this game. That is just not the attitude I am bringing to this game, because those scenarios predicate on the best team in the league, who both of the times that we've played the two best teams in the league have essentially been zero pressure situations for them, and they haven't turned up with the urgency that they might in a match where the result had a meaningful and material impact on their season. They were disappointed to lose against us in Charlotte, but it wasn't the end of the world. Union Omaha was probably disappointed to drop a point or two because it meant they didn't lock in, but it wasn't the end of the world. They got there in the end. So those are not those teams coming with the attitude that they'll be bringing in a playoff match. I know that raises the expectations for them, but I don't necessarily think they were wholly representative of what Richmond looked. And then a month later, it cuts the other way and we lose 1-0. So I just think there are many scenarios that Richmond could win this. My eggs cannot be in that basket for my own mental sanity.
Y'all, either way, I'm walking out of the game with a cold beer. So, like, if we lose, like, all right, cool. It sucks.
Nobody thought we'd be.
Like, they beat my expectations back to life. Yeah. It beat my expectations.
We made the playoffs.
I was planning on doing something this weekend. And those players, I was like, it's not ready to play off.
At the same time, though, I don't think just because our expectations got absolutely tanked, because of the first 4 months of the season, means that this is a positive, even if they lose.
No. I'm not saying like that. I'm saying like they answered the prayers that we gave out. It was like, give us something to fight for. They did that. I will be disappointed if we lose in the playoffs. But I'm not walking out of there like it's not going to be the same disappointment as like when we lost to Chattanooga. Like we lost to Chattanooga in the playoffs. Like we were the 1 seed. We were expected to get to the final. I'm crushed. I'm devastated. I can't watch soccer for a whole goddamn week because everything reminds me of freaking Rafa Mintigan, who I hope stubs his toe every morning when he gets out of bed. But we were the 8th seed. And the pressure's on you, Omaha. Like, there's no expectations for us.
No.
Like, no one's picking us. Go in there and cause some chaos. Put the pressure on them.
Yeah, that's what I seriously think Darren should do. We're not a team that is known for, pushing the pressure up the field and taking it to the other team. We kind of give them their possession and lock it down. I think there needs to be a new MO for this game. There needs to be give them a punch in the mouth in the first 2 minutes. Give them something to think about. Make them drop back on their heels. And I think with the pressure being on them, that would be a good opportunity for us to maybe sneak a win out of that game. Yeah. But my concern and the reason why I'm leaning more towards what Kate is saying is because will Darren do that? And that is the question. Will Darren tell the team, go punch him in the mouth in the first 2 minutes? Or will he say, let's play safe? Which he has done several times. So if he plays safe, we're not winning this game. It's a wrap. It's over. It's basically damage control. If we take it to them, anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah. In disagree, we've already had this conversation 3 times in the last 20 minutes. We don't need to keep going in circles.
Yeah, no, we don't. It's gonna be fun though. Matt, are you coming down for the watch party, or are you gonna be up in your house watching it?
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna bother to come down. Just sit in the stadium and watch TV. No.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I understand. It is free though, so but yeah, I understand it. Y'all, anything else before we wrap up the show? Kate, relax.
No.
Pop an edible. Smoke a J. It is okay.
Look,
Yeah.
all I'm going to say is I just
if we win but if we were to win Union, which bracket are we playing next? Who?
Greenville or Knoxville.
Which game?
Yeah,
Greenville or Knoxville? Okay. All right.
But all I can say is I just watched, a team that should be wearing a reddish color but was inexplicably wearing black. Fluke one out against a bunch of Midwesterners. Commanders, Bears.
Wait,
in case you weren't putting the pieces together there. Why not? Why not us? Somebody can be our Jaden Daniels.
Exactly.
Wow. Inspiring words.
It can happen.
And then get fluke our way through that one. Get to go down to Greenville. Don't lose there. Like we literally don't lose there. Actually, we don't lose in Knoxville either. So win this one, we're basically in the final, and who knows what happens there? I mean,
right. And then let's say we do beat Union Omaha. Once again, it's another game with no pressure. All the pressure's on them.
True.
It's fun.
Yeah, I mean,
enjoy
at the end
it.
of the day, any playoff game, the pressure is on the other team because we literally are the last place
Yeah.
playoff team.
Go have some fun. Do some crazy stuff.
The pressure will go on us if we were to go further. Like on paper, yeah, well, they're the 8th seed and this team is the 4th or 5th seed. I understand that, but still, it's like y'all just beat the 1st seed, so you should be able to do this. Let's go. So pressure will be on.
No, absolutely not.
No,
No, absolutely not. No, no.
You know who the pressure is also not on? Lexington's coach.
Oh yeah,
he's reassigned.
Mm-hmm. The first domino has fallen.
How predictable was that?
Next.
Yeah, there was like, we're doing worldwide search. Like, oh, buddy. Chattanooga had one job.
Worldwide. Really?
Chattanooga had one job. He couldn't even do that right.
Yeah.
The one time people were actually rooting for them, he couldn't get it done.
Of course.
Yeah. And of course, Tormenta was already on Cancun, losing 5.
Well, see every other episode where I've talked about Tormenta.
Yeah, just plug in that point here. And also, hey, the other fun thing was Madison crapped the bed. They fell to 3.
Yeah.
So, as a Kickers fan, there's something to jovial in that, seeing that they don't get to experience happiness either. So, yeah. So, anything else?
They get to play Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elliot's always going to root for Charlotte anyway, so.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'll root for Charlotte to beat Madison, and I'll be happy. It's a win for me. It's a win for me. But anything else, guys, before we wrap up officially this time? I think we're like way deep in the weeds at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we are. We're way deep in the weeds. We definitely went on a tangent about who's going to start, who's not going to start, how Darren should play, playoffs, all that other stuff. But it's fun because you know what? It's the playoffs.
Oh, a question. Do you think the team has any pressure on them going into this weekend?
Absolutely none.
Right.
Whatsoever.
Didn't think that came up yet, so I just wanted to check.
Should we all bring tire pressure gauges to the watch party just to indicate how low pressure is on Richmond?
Yeah, we should. I'm just gonna walk around with no care in the world. Who cares? All right, let me wrap this show up. All right, listeners, as always, we just want to say thank you for taking the time of your day for listening to our show, because without you, we couldn't do this, and we wouldn't want to do this. And also, this is our 50th episode of the year. There's been a lot. So, yeah, thank you for, if you've listened to all 50, and especially this one, this late, you deserve a Happy Meal. Actually, don't get a Happy Meal. They got E. coli. Go somewhere where they got chicken tenders. Do that instead. Yeah, enjoy yourselves. Look, Sunday's going to be a great day. Enjoy it. Wear your favorite Kickers jersey. Have a good brunch meal. Drink a couple of mimosas. Get ready for the Kickers to do their thing against Union Omaha. And when we win the game, because we had more yellow cards and more fouls than shots on goal, we'll basket it all together. And we'll be doing another happy podcast. So with that being said, as always, everyone, we'll holler at you next week. Be easy and be